stop being a panic seller. I'm John McAfee, and I approve.
G'day everybody, welcome to the happy hour, and g'day to my old mates 43 OG and True Blue. How you guys going?
What's happening?
Yo, good.
Heaps. It's Friday though. It's beer o'clock, and I get to chat to you fine gents.
Yeah,
cheers to that. Cheers to the weekend.
Look at someone left this at my place over Easter, so I'm going with the leftovers. West Coast Cooler.
What? Oh, okay. Is that like a vodka or something, or
it's like, I don't know, some sort of, I don't know, cidery thing.
Alcohol in it. Yeah.
Obviously a green bottle.
It's like, yeah, green bottle. It's like 0.5 of a drink, so that's all I need. It's good.
There you go. There you go. It's funny when I've got that McAfee don't be a panic seller thingy. I'm always like trying to click it in time. But yeah, apparently John McAfee approves this message from the grave. So that's also awesome.
It is awesome.
But yeah, so I'm pretty excited about what's been going on. There's heaps of things happening in the PulseChain ecosystem, as there always is. You guys did such a great job last week with RG. That was an awesome stream.
Yeah, it was good fun, definitely.
We got off to an interesting start.
Yeah, it did. It did. It was he's got some strong words. And
because I'm always like freedom, you know, and you know, RG was listening.
I loved it.
And he's like, who are you talking about though, right? He's like, who are you talking about? It's us, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we you know, I thought about it, and like over the last week, I'm like, you know what? We have a different situation in Australia than the US. The US have a Bill of Rights.
Similar though. Oh yeah, true. In terms of
Bill of Rights. Similar, man. Not that similar.
Well, we have a constitution. It's just that we don't seem to give a shit about it for some reason. But I think Australia does have a constitution.
Yeah, but we don't have a Bill of Rights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like for some reason we tend to. Well, I hope that this is changing, right? I kind of think that maybe we were a little bit obsequious, you know, a bit sort of. Like doing exactly what the government said, you know, being like a slave almost to exactly whatever they wanted in that last sort of thing that happened. And then whereas I kind of think that because of the way it panned out, a lot of people, and particularly in yours,
what last thing that happened?
The control, the flu that went round.
Oh right, okay. I was just trying to work out which one of the last things that happened, whether it was the vote.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, the digital ID thing. Yeah, that's a shit show as well. Like, I mean, that's just, it's all about control, isn't it? So the more control. So I kind of agree, and particularly, you know, you were locked down pretty heavy over where you were. We weren't that bad over here, but it's just that sort of boiling the frog, the encroachment onto your rights that I think we all kind of raised our hackles a bit, and so maybe next time around, I don't think people are going to be as sort of. It's
just, when you tie everything together, when you tie it all together, you go, okay, well, digital ID, linked to all of your data, right? So there's a honeypot there, managed by third parties, apparently. Access to third parties, access to
that's probably one
and
of the biggest
and then
problems,
you've got the idea of a CBDC, which they say that it's, you know, don't have any plans to do a CBDC, but they're doing trials, which means that they plan on going in that direction.
Oh,
right. And then you've got banks pushing really, really hard for cashless society.
Yeah.
You know, you got the guy.
It's like they're getting all the ingredients. They're getting all the ingredients together, and they're like,
to be able to take out more than $500. He doesn't want you to be able to take out more than $500 cash. You've got Armaguard going down as a company, right? So they don't want to have to ferry all the cash around. And then when you put all these things together, it's just like, okay, so, you know, you've got places like China where you can jaywalk across the street and the cameras will pick up your face. There's no middleman, so to speak, but it will know who you are, give you a fine, take the money out of your account, and there's just no one.
Just automate it. I mean, look, I agree with what you're saying. They're getting all these ingredients together, and it's like, well, hang on, you're not going to put all this together, are you? Because then that's like a full dystopian sort of state.
Why wouldn't they? But when I say they, I mean, why wouldn't governments do that? Because governments do it thinking that they're doing something good and good for the people.
Oh, right? I don't necessarily agree with that. No, I don't agree with that. I don't think governments.
I think for the most part, people in government think that they're doing the right thing.
I disagree, bro. I disagree. I have a theory that basically like 80% of people, and it's probably a lot higher in government, are either incompetent or corrupt. And I think that it is rife through the government. I think these guys, they care about one thing, and that's getting reelected. And if that helps you, that's great. But really, they care about getting reelected. I don't really think they give a shit, and they get lining their own pockets. They're literally just.
Well, I'm trying to be generous.
Deals.
I'm trying to be generous. I'm not trying to come across as someone who's like, you know, they're all evil people. I think most of them probably want to make good change. They want to they want change for the better. Like they feel that they want, and they probably think in their minds, I'm doing something for the best. But ultimately, they're just taking away people's freedoms. That's what ends up happening. And they do it under the guise of we're doing it for everyone's.
Yeah, but that's a delusion, man. That's a self-delusion. They're cosplaying as people who care about you and care about your feelings and care about the environment and care about a whole bunch of things. What they actually care about is getting paid and sticking around so they can get paid more. That's what it is, man. And then
why do we crap on about this sort of stuff so much? It's because we actually believe that people should have like more power to people, right? We think that people should have, you know,
push back against things that we disagree with.
Well, self-sovereignty. You should, and the second they've got all of these things in place, and they decide to cut off, you've gone out of your designated zone, and they cut off your access to your money. Well, then that's sort of that you're in a prison, just a bigger prison, right? I know exactly what you're saying. It's crazy that you can. Yeah, you could geo-lock your money, that you can make these 5-minute cities, 15-minute cities. Like that's absurd. But I liked what RG3 was saying about it, which was like, hang on, they're not just, I mean, they are in it for control, right? But they're not just in it just to stitch you up. They're doing it so they can get paid, right? So that it's all, if you ever wonder why anything doesn't make sense or why anyone's doing anything, follow the money.
Because the ultimate motivator is financial incentive. And so they're only going to do these 15-minute cities or whatever if they think that they can profit from it more than they are. Like, it's not just to stitch you. Like,
Adam Stokes has a great comment. It's like when it comes to crypto, right? Which is we're all in crypto. We like crypto because of that censorship-resistant, you know, element, and that's how I'm tying this.
That's one of the reasons. It's
one of the reasons. But that's what I'm saying. Adam Stokes has this great line that he says. It's like, you come for the Lambo, but you stay for the revolution, right? And it's such a great saying that he says, because it's true. Like everyone wants a Lambo, and they come, but the people who stay are the ones who are like, they're staying. It's like, wait a second, this can ultimately give us some censorship-resistant freedom to transact, and freedom of speech. Like from an American perspective, free code is speech. So freedom of speech, freedom to transact.
Yeah, that's interesting. You said a lot of interesting things there, man. Like we could chat about this for a long time, man. Like I definitely agree. I mean, one of the things, the biggest trigger for me was the mandatory data retention thing. When that came around, it was a long time ago, and it was because they said it was because of terrorism, and that's why they had to take everyone's metadata. And because I'm sort of in engineering and physics, and I'm sort of just like, I was instantly like, hang a tick, metadata from people's phones, you can just track where everyone's going. Like instantly, I'm like going, this is just a bad idea. And then plus, like, you know, the metadata from emails, the metadata from messages, there's a lot of information you can get from metadata. So I was kind of like already like really pissed before I got into crypto. But then I think you see some like-minded people that just happen to be, so crypto didn't make me feel this way. I already was like this. And then I was like, oh, look, these guys all agree with me as well. And then plus there's the whole monetary structure
people
thing.
Of this mindset of freedom gravitate towards crypto. Isn't that interesting? Or at least they gravitate, there's a subsection that gravitate towards crypto, but then stay. Because there's so many like-minded people who believe in this. The ones who are willing to talk about it, like you and us and True Blue, like we're talking about it. Whereas the people who just come in, they're just there for the meme coins. They get in, they get out. They probably don't care about the tech, about censorship resistance, that sort of stuff. But I think the people who have been, you know, hanging around and chatting about these ideas, they really do care. And you made another really good point as well. But yeah, I just thought the discussion you had with RG, I thought was really important. It's great to see him sort of stepping up as a sort of a leader and pump everyone up and all this sort of stuff. Because we need that. Like I think as the community, like we need some voices, you know, and some positivity. Like prices go up, prices go down. Like it is what it is. But you just got to sort of stay the course. Like I remember Somi talked about this a long time ago, right? He was like, check your little checklist and like, is it post-halving, you know, Christmas 2024? Is it December 2025? Like it's not. Okay, well then relax. You know, like exactly. Whereas people sometimes just kind of go, oh my God, like it's a red candle. And it's like, yeah. But still within the context of where this cycle is going, maybe just go fishing or something, and then next week it'll be green. So we're talking about price. Yeah. So I mean,
I was just saying like sentiment, but also like I think it's great that people, you get leaders and people talking about sentiment.
I guess if you're not like someone who's heavily in BTC or Ethereum, then and you see them doing like, you know, back to all-time highs or on their way, and then you see whatever you're playing in not following that, then that alarms some people.
But it is early I understand days, what you're saying, but keep in mind, so that's like a lesson. Like, so I kind of see this as like sometimes you lose money, right? But on paper, but you're paying for, like, instead of paying $5,000 for some course to tell you what's up, you're paying sometimes to learn lessons. You know what I mean? And that's worthwhile. Like that's still, it's okay to learn lessons, you know, financially through going down. But and people say, oh, okay, so Solana, whatever, some things are pumping, going bananas. I've got an example for you. There was a Solana meme coin that I aped into because I saw someone talk about it, right? So I threw, you know, a small amount of money into it. And I got in on day 2, right? And this coin, I think, did like 100,000x or something ridiculous. And I've done like a 3x or something on it, because in that first day is where it did like the 10,000x or whatever. And then but no one was buying that, like even on day 2. So it's deceptive, right? If you look at it, you're sort of going on paper, wow, this thing did 100,000x. Oh, if I was in that, I would have done 100,000x. Bullshit. Because it's a playbook. Sometimes it's
a playbook that they're using to get people in.
Yeah, because the liquidity is ridiculously low. You get in even on day 2, and 3x is great, but let's not shit ourselves. It's not what it's being advertised at, and there are a lot of people.
So I just want to point out that like what you're saying is like correct, 100% correct. They're like almost like scam pumps that show that they've done like 10,000
on paper it looks ridiculous.
actually.
So that's what people are like, oh, if I was in that, I would have been doing better. But it's like, you wouldn't have. You would have got like 30% more, maybe.
This
and
one
then you would have
here,
got rugged.
See this one here? That was a legit 10,000. That was actually a legit
that was
10,000
a proper
that you had. You could actually buy and realize, you know,
big time. A lot of people did very well off X, 100%, and we'll do again. I think. I've got to bring up my old mate Mayo down here. How you going there, buddy?
Hey lads, how are you?
Very well,
Hey,
mate. Very well.
What's going on,
so
mate?
so good to have you on, man. It's I've been keen to get you on for ages, and yeah, awesome that you could come down and say hello.
Yeah, been busy out there earning fiat.
Mate, someone's got to keep the country going, and if you earn good dollars for it, and then you can rotate into, you know, an asset that's down, then you're going to do really well out of that.
That's it. So what's been happening? What have I missed?
Oh, nothing much. Just standard us ranting about the government and then talking so much that
complaining.
True can't get a word in.
That's it.
I haven't met you.
Don't even get me started on that.
Let me just say, I'm not staying for long. I'm going to duck out in about 10 minutes. I got to head off, but I'm glad that I came on and got that off my chest.
No, man. No, we always appreciate your comments about,
BS.
particularly about the government and like that digital ID thing, man. Like, I mean, yeah, they kind of tried to do it before. I mean, they're going to do it again with the vaccination passports and stuff. You just know it. But I wonder with the timing, like in terms of like the presidential election in the US, you know, if this year is just going to be like they're going to start printing or quantitative easing, and then, you know, it's just going to be, or whether they're going to try and fabricate some kind of, you know, disaster that they're going to need an excuse to give stimulus. So it could kind of go either way. It's interesting. Just
one last comment on that digital ID thing. There is no doubt in my mind that if that gets in and it is voluntary, it will be voluntary. However, if you want to get your Medicare rebate, you will voluntarily need to sign up for it. If you want to get your tax refund, you'll voluntarily need to sign up for it. So it would be under coercion. We know the playbook. We've seen the playbook. They've shown their hand before. So this is the playbook. They'll just say, yeah, it's totally voluntary, and then it's actually, I mean, you're heavily coerced.
This isn't even new, man. They've tied it into the childcare subsidy since forever. But some of those old school vaccinations are legit. Like, you know, they've been around for a long time, and all the measles, mumps, rubella, and all that sort of stuff. So I think that might, but anyway, that's maybe a different discussion. Have you got a beverage, Mayo, or what are you up to, man?
I'm going to head off, guys.
Some hydrogen water going on here.
Okay, you're going to disappear?
See you.
Awesome.
40.
Thanks, 43.
See you, guys.
Take it
easy.
easy.
See you, mate.
Have a good one.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, mate, Mayo, how's Jake Lund doing? Has he got any fights coming up or anything?
I'm not sure what he's doing at the moment. He was talking about going over to Thailand for probably like a 12-month stint.
Wow. That's awesome.
Still in the works. So I haven't really had time to catch up with him in person over the last couple of months since New Year's, but that was the last update, and we're at the stage where we're coming to the renewal of the sponsorship. So I've in behind the scenes trying to work that out again and based off what he's going to do, whether he goes overseas and stays overseas. But yeah, still a lot of info to come in. Nothing's locked in yet.
Awesome, man. Yeah, no, let us know, man, because like I really liked watching his fights and stuff. And I mean, the last one that I saw didn't go his way, but I feel like he's going to be some fire in his belly after that. And he's
I think he might have needed that, to be honest. A bit of a
because he was just so dominant, wasn't he? And then it was like he got a really good opponent. And I mean, those Muay Thai fights, they're really interesting. Like, because I'm used to UFC and all that sort of stuff, MMA. Really interesting to kind of like in terms of the rounds and just the speed of it, and then how like they feel each other out. And there's a lot of, it's very specific to Muay Thai that it took me a while because I've only seen not that many Muay Thai fights, but very cool, man. But you do that as well, don't you, Mayo?
I used to. That's how we all know each other and pretty big in the industry. But yeah, I haven't actually had a fight myself since like 2017, before all the scamdemic kicked off. Yeah, tore the ligament off my ankle, so had a bit of time off.
Yeah. And but you still train and stuff though, right?
Yeah, on and off. I'm not consistent as I used to be. Too busy with work and business, and trying to set family up. So I've dialed back off that. That's where I've come in and tried to support other people I know are doing it, because I'm not doing it myself, but it's still
awesome.
Still a passion.
Yeah, man. I was still I sort of train a couple of times a week, and we were doing some drills the other day where it was like it's full contact, mouth guards, gloves, and everything. But we do drills and stuff where like we start with like a rear naked choke, but there's strikes, and then so the guy has to get out of that because it's like the worst position, you know. And then so but yeah, you cop a few. I got a black eye a couple of weeks ago, and but you know, just to get out of that situation, it gives you a bit of confidence that you can even get out of those. I managed to give someone a leg triangle and then rotate it around so that I was actually sitting on his chest with a leg triangle, and then I could just control his hands and just like hammer fist. And I was like, you got to tap, bro. Like,
give up.
You have to stop now. Like,
it's a game of chess, really, isn't it, with your body? So you're always thinking that next move, thinking one step.
Yeah, because I set up like a leg triangle, and he rolled into it, and I was like, that's not going to work, bro, because I'm just going to roll on top of you and maintain that triangle and just sit. It's like, it's the worst position. Anyway, I should probably say hello to the chat, man. I'm just neglecting the chat over here. So what's up, Hex Ninja Turtle? Good to see you, man. Class is in the chat, of course. Champion, Red Squirrel. I saw your oi oi that got deleted earlier in the week.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah. Hexadelic Legend, what's up? Golkey, there you go. Haven't seen him in the chat before, but he's been maybe in the lurking and watching in the background. Just about to drive and work. Awesome. That's probably the best way to do it. Hi ho Hex. What's up? High expectations. As long as I don't have bad debt to anyone, then why anything else I do anyone's business? Yeah, that's a fair point. Control. I think this is just privacy. You know, reiterating what we were talking about.
We started the conversation in the chat.
Yeah, that's wicked.
Yeah. I'm on this topic every day at work, man. And more and more people are talking to me about it now at work and through different sites. It's actually pretty cool how many more people are discussing it in person.
Yeah, I get that as well, man. I was chatting to this welder guy on a site. I was doing some stuff for the square column array, and we're testing their Faraday cages. And he was a really nice guy. He really smart guy. He was quick. He was funny as well. Hilarious guy. But he had some really interesting things to say. So yeah, it's funny how it gets more and more people, I think, are starting to see some of this stuff. Great to see everyone here. Cyclists continuing. Today I got Marcus depression now. Next comes disbelief rally. Needs more time. Okay, 2025. Yeah, man, we've seen some capitulation. Like there's some emotional damage on the timeline. That's for sure. Some people are just rage quitting. I think Silvertooth has joined Litecoin community. You know, pour one out for the homies.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you missed Ollie Henley in the chat there.
Oh man, I can't believe this. Oh, did I go past her?
Yeah.
Outrageous.
But yes.
Sorry about that, Ollie. But yeah, there's lots of people in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us and for commenting. Superclass investors. I haven't heard that. I'll have to check that out.
I can't believe that digital ID went through our Senate the other day. I'm assuming you probably already brought that up earlier.
I think
that's been a hot topic for me at work, trying to get all the boys to sign the petition against that.
We tried to talk about it last week, or we did talk a little bit about it in the beginning, but then we had RG on, and he sort of got into it and was just sort of putting his side where it's he piped up and sort of said, maybe it's not as bad as everyone thinks, but I'm not a fan of it, just because of where we know, once they get their cards in the right spot, where it'll end up going. So,
well, the thing is, I guess, if you can't, we do what we can to make awareness and try and prevent it. But at the end of the day, if we can't stop it, you've got to put yourself in the best situation for it, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
I 100%, man. And I think that we've kind of done that with self-custodying our keys. I think that that's a really important step, because that means that you're in control. You're not reliant on any other middleman. And it's not to say that we don't need on-ramps and off-ramps as well. And we talked about this, like, with the sex listing or whatever, MEXC or whatever. I kind of disagree with Richard Hart when he says that we don't need sexes, centralized exchanges. And it's okay, for us to disagree, but I think he's trying to protect people from getting, rugged from centralized exchanges, which is legitimate. He's always trying to stop people from getting scammed in his comments and things like that. So that's fair. But I kind of want it, maybe from a selfish point of view, because I actually want to get more people in, onboard more people, and then try and transition them to self-custody of keys, like with Trezors and hardware wallets. But I'm willing to concede that I can see both sides of that argument. But it's super bullish, I think, that RH is just kind of saying we don't even need the exchanges. Like, we're going to pump no matter what. Because if you read between the lines there, that's kind of a really bullish statement.
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of disagree. I think it's only, would be better to have them. But I like his sentiment with that. And I did see. Sorry, mate. Go ahead.
Right. Speaking of onboarding and offboarding, OX Coast is about to come back online. So
yes,
it's been down for a few weeks, or probably close to a month or something, with issues with the payment rails. But they just had an update today saying they're coming back.
2 more weeks. Two more weeks, you reckon?
Well, yeah, they said they've signed. Where are we? Payment rails operation. And yeah,
let me know when they're back up. Let me know when they're back up, because it's one of those things where, like, I don't want to hear about it's going to be up in, I'm maxed out with the 2 more weeks, man. Like,
I reckon it'll be with
PulseChain.
I'll put my.
I hope it does.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, man. Nah, I think it's awesome. Those guys are good guys. It's just I've just got like 2 more weeks fatigue. Like, like wait for you to do something. Like, do something and then tell me about it after. Like, not you, but like anyone. Yeah. Like, go and do it. Get a degree in whatever, and then or go and build a house, and then tell me, and don't tell me you're about to build a house. Like, I'm like, well, everyone's about to, like, could potentially be about to do something.
Yeah, it's in mining, in my industry, it's pretty much rumors are everywhere, but don't believe anything until you actually physically see it. So
exactly,
don't tell me until it's there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But I noticed the US government transferred $2.1 billion in seized Bitcoins to Coinbase. Did anyone know whether they actually sold that? 30,000 Bitcoin?
No, I don't think
so. That's the Silk Road. That was the Silk Road. I haven't seen
anything about a sale of it, but I've seen that it's been moving around.
Interesting. I don't know why. I mean, I kind of do know why. I feel like they're trying to spook the market a little bit, like to kind of go, oh, look, we've got 30,000 Bitcoin that we're about to dump on an exchange. Like, and then, like, I think sometimes they're trying to, get a lower, they're trying to create like a downtrend, and then they can dump and they can buy in and lower their cost basis. I feel like that's sometimes what they're doing. Like, they did it a little bit with the like the ETFs and stuff like that, when they would try and like generate FUD and say, oh, look, Ethereum's going to be a security and all this sort of stuff, and then it's all a big nothing burger in the end of it.
I think. Well, let's just say the powers to be or the elitists. I think they're aware that the retailers are getting smarter, so their normal plans aren't working. So
could be, man.
There's other things maybe getting thrown in the works to mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
So
that like, is
something. Yeah,
I do wonder about that, because a lot of those old playbooks are sort of are not going to work as well this time round. I've also seen a couple of other things going on. There was Money Gang Crypto, shout out to him. He's always got some really interesting like news and stuff. But yeah, there was some $575 million crypto fraud yields arrest in Estonia. It's worth like I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just like people were trying to spook the market or whatever, but there does seem to be a few like US government things that's been going on like recently. But yeah, he's pretty funny. I'll see if I can bring up some of his stuff. Yeah. This stuff that was funny. He was saying that meanwhile on Solana, there was a meme coin called Condom, raised basically 5,000 Sol, like $1 million in the pre-sale, and then rugged before launch.
Oh, goodness.
Fuck. But no, he's good, man. He's definitely got some funny stuff in there.
He is good. He seems to be on the money, as like he's on the ball with what's going on, and posting stuff that's very recent, and interesting to read. But he's good.
I mean, some of it's a bit conspiracy stuff as well. Like I think he was talking about this before that Richard tweet about the about eHex sort of being, eHex classic and Hex is going to be the future, all that sort of stuff. Apparently there was some big outflows before that. I don't know. It's like,
yeah.
I think people like
keep up with it all unless you're here all the time.
I reckon no one knows what's going on with that, and
exactly.
Speculating. Yeah.
See, that could have been the reason why he said it, as well. Like you don't know, correlation is not causation. So you might have been like, he's seen this and then he's gone, you know what? I'm going to say this because at this point, like, people need to say it, need to hear it or whatever, give clarity. But yeah, so this Money Gang Crypto, I definitely recommend, check him out. He was talking about Tate. Apparently he's got some PulseChain and he's in the farms. This guy's crying.
That's cool.
So I mean, I don't really care. Like, I'm not a huge Andrew Tate fan, but like, more celebrities that get into it, I guess the better. Like, if so, he's not talking about it now because the price is not doing well. But once the price starts doing well, of course, it's entirely possible he will start talking about it. So that's like a, closed doors can only open sort of scenario.
Yeah, that's right. He could have like a smaller, still like a big effect, but smaller than Elon Musk effect on Dogecoin. But if he was to come out swinging, saying he likes PulseChain or Hex or whatever it is, that could be pretty good for us in the middle of a bull. That's for sure. He's got a pretty big following.
Oh,
yeah, I was going to say that about Coast. It's at 93 cents or 94 cents at the moment. Yeah.
Bit of an arb there.
Yeah.
I guess that's a mean regression. I'm not sure if it's an arb because it's not like it's back up, but it's going back to the mean. So you're sort of assuming that it's going to go peg back to $1.
Yeah.
And that you're just trying to get that extra. Well, it's not even 7%. It's probably slightly more than that. It's
or if you're wanting to cash out and you wait for it to come because it's always redeemable for $1. So
that's an interesting topic because there's been a whole bunch of like P-Dye mayhem going on. Like I feel like the P-Dye madness is spreading, which I think is maybe like just a symptom of boredom, where it's sort of like if we have to wait, post halving and whatever until the hyperphase of the bull, it's like the Itropa sort of ecosystem it gives people like these narratives and there's all these things and the pegging, and it's like it feels like it's almost like a bit of a like a whodunit or like there's a mystery. It's exciting, but I still maintain my position that it could go to $1, just like Hex could go to $1. I'm still not convinced that it would actually peg at $1. One of my concerns would be that, so they seem to be saying, if P-Dye goes to $1, then all the other like P stables would also go to $1, and that P-Rat Bitcoin would go to the Bitcoin price and all this sort of stuff. And it's kind of like, hang on. Now, what happens when all these guys who've got wrapped Bitcoin realize they've got their P copy and all of a sudden it's worth the same as Bitcoin? What do you think is going to happen, right? They're going to come in here and just dump the shit out of it. And then it applies to a whole bunch of other things. Maybe they're going to do the liquidity providing thing, which would be great. And maybe if enough people dump and then it keeps pumping up, they might see the value in it. But it's not just like a straight path, right? It's like they're not considering the sell pressure. Like they're only seeing the positive side. Like if it's at 1 cent and it goes to $1, then I've got $1,000, I'm going to 100x my bag, then I'm going to have $100,000. It's like, true, but
and they're saying that, and what, they're not going to sell it when it gets to that stage.
It gets to $1, and then what happens?
How many other whales are sitting there that haven't even surfaced yet? We don't even know about that are waiting for if this happens.
Because
saying they can dump it. So
it's probably not worth their time. Like they've probably got like hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're like, oh wow, I've got like 10 grand in this coin. But if it goes up to like $1 million or something, then they're all of a sudden. So what do you think, Mayo, about that PDI stuff?
I don't know, man. It's a lot to. I don't think it's going to happen. It's like you said. How many people hold it and have to not sell it for it to continue to get there? Does that make sense in really short, basic summary?
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
I think it can go up and above $1, but whether it holds there or not,
that's right.
I highly doubt it. I think it's just it'll act like another coin, meme coin or whatever.
Exactly. It's a meme. We sort of talked about this with Bluey and stuff about how if you replace, let me just move this. If you replace the word meme with narrative, then it's just a narrative, like it's just a meme effectively. This was the meme that I made when someone was trying to explain it to me, and I was like, it's got the crazy eyes, like
so good.
This is what's going to happen. And I was like, yeah. But see, the thing that kind of annoyed me was I listened to a few of those videos and stuff, and there's a lot of bias in there. And you have to be, if you're being honest with yourself, you have to recognize bias when it exists in yourself as well. So there's this positive outcome bias where it's like, if this is going to benefit you hugely, then you sort of can convince yourself that this is what's going to happen. You're always you've got to be aware of that bias exists. And then there's other bias, like they have this appeal to authority bias where they're like, oh, this Maria guy said this. And it's like, hang on, 2 weeks ago, you thought it was a chick. Now it's like this guy, he works with NASA or something. It's like, oh, okay. I did some work with NASA like last week as well, like doing some testing for some guys that were doing calibration on some of their satellites. And it's like, but you shouldn't listen to what I say about it. Like, that doesn't mean shit. Like, that's not related. It's not a good enough reason. Like, there are some good reasons maybe that you could argue. There's that Sparkland guy, who's like the main guy who runs Sparkland. I think it's Sam Mc something. And he's a hexagon, like it's like hexonaut. You can like look it up. And it's like, so he might launch Sparkland on PulseChain, right? And I hope he does. That'd be sick.
Hell yeah.
But there's a lot of assumptions that still go in there. And then like on the video I heard, they were saying, the Spark swap is already, on PulseChain. It's already there and it's the same guys. So hang on, let me just pull this up. And I was like, yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch. Because this SparkSwap.xyz, this is pretty cool. Like people do, yield farmings, they do these vault things where you auto compound.
Actually, you put in SparkSwap yet. So I'm not
it's the reason why I looked at it is because I keep trying to open wallets. I've got it on Stream Wallet, but I don't think I need to. The only reason why I looked at it is because it was like, if you go to trade the fold down bridge, you can use BNB or Arbitrum.
Yep.
So you can go from Arbitrum. So it's just cheap. It's a cheaper way to bridge in, right? If you want to send tokens from your exchange via Arbitrum, like some ETH on Arbitrum, to your wallet, and then you bridge it in, the gas fees are way lower. So you got to pay like the fees. So the main PulseChain bridge is like feeless, but you got to pay the gas. So if you're talking about big bags, you'd want to go with the main PulseChain bridge because it's a percentage of your bag. Whereas if your bag is small, you don't care about the percentage like fees, but you don't want to pay $100 in gas.
Yeah,
you're not on the Ethereum side. Then you go via Arbitrum or BSC, but then you've got you end up getting wrapped BNB on PulseChain. So then you've got to think of the liquidity there and think about the numbers that so how much slippage you're going to get when you go out of wrapped BNB on PulseChain into Pulse. That's how I think you can choose whatever you want, right?
Okay. Well, maybe not. Because SDI's got over 500,000 of liquidity. I think even more.
Actually, it looks like you can just go straight to Pulse. Oh, that's weird. On BSC, I thought you used to be able to go with BNB. Now you can only use EMP. Interesting. But whereas on Arbitrum, or maybe it's because I don't have a wallet connected. I feel like that's changed. Anyway, my point was, this is not the same, guys. SparkSwap is not the same as SparkFi. And I can see how people are getting confused. But SparkFi is the Ethereum, that SparkLend thing. I think we talked about this. Why is this so bright? Damn you.
Needs dark mode.
Oh, here we go. Fucking hell. My eyes, the goggles do nothing. So SDI, I think we've mentioned this. It's basically like you can deposit your DAI into this SparkLend thing, and then people can use that, and then you get SDI, and then people can use that DAI that you've deposited, like they can get loans, and then it's the whole collateralized loan thing that you're probably familiar with other loan protocols. So I think the SAC wallets put a whole bunch of DAI into this SparkLend, and they had some SDI. And so I can see why people were like, interested in how this works and how the Maker protocol gives yield, because if those SAC wallets are like putting in DAI and getting SDI and then earning yield through the Maker protocol, maybe that yield could be used to increase the size of the SAC wallets, increase the purchasing power on the assets that we like. We're talking about Pulse, PulseX, Hex, right? So I can see how like this is a really interesting narrative, like the SparkLend thing and the Maker protocol, if they were to launch. But in the video I saw, like they were just conflating these two things together and just saying, oh, SparkLend, therefore SparkSwap is already there. These guys made a separate thing called EMP, which is a algorithmically, so it's a coin on BNB, which is algorithmically pegged to ETH.
Yeah.
But yeah, two different things. And then they were saying like, they were saying things like Maker is going to abandon Ethereum and make their own chain, which is like maybe, I guess. And then it was like, he said it was going to be a fork of ETHW. And then I looked it up and it was like they were going to be using the Solana back end and building on the Solana framework. So it was like, there's so many assumptions in this, in this video, and there's like one or two early in the chain that are like factually incorrect, like provably wrong. And then, but you've built on it 10 steps deep. Like I might agree with the last conclusion in this like train of thought, but it's built on like a really sketchy foundation. So
never assume anything because it makes that ass out of you and me.
Exactly, man. Yeah, too many assumptions going on.
And back to the rumor thing we were just talking about before, rumors without evidence.
Yes.
And not actually
it's
seeing
like
it.
Yeah. Look, and so
did you see, sorry, I'll break you up. That Retro Static just put a comment there talking about the Spark swap. We're doing a SwapX with OKX chain or something. Yeah, what's that?
Oh, okay. Well, that would be cool. I mean, OKX is one of those exchanges that did list Pulse initially, and then they pulled it, right? So it maybe because of the SEC thing, maybe once the SEC stuff goes away, like with a case dismissed, settlement, whatever, maybe OKX will take it up again, and you can just buy Pulse through OKX. So, and with like a credit card or whatever. I mean, you still have to KYC and all that stuff, and then so if Retrostatic is saying Spark Swap are doing stuff with SwapX, part of OKX new chain. I've used the OKX wallet. It's all right. Yeah, I think that's good. Like the more avenues in, the better, right? Yeah, Chinese whispers. Yeah, and like assumptions, rumors, like it's not great investment, sort of strategy to build stuff based on just things that you can't verify. Like you really want to be able to prove. So yeah. Anyway, maybe I'll stop talking about that. G'day, Finbear. How you going, mate?
Finbear. Yeah, all of this stuff, seems to turn into Chinese whispers or there's more of it. That's for sure. When prices are down and things are boring, it just starts to get real crap. Everyone doing bad mouthing things and just making us look even worse. It's everyone just settle down, chill out, just enjoy.
I don't see some of that.
Yeah,
I've muted so many people that my timeline is actually pretty chilled.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then sometimes people like go, "Oh, I can't believe this person said," and I'm like, "What? Oh, I muted those guys ages ago." Like,
I've been on the muting train a bit lately, so it's pretty good.
I'm
clearing it out.
I have a thing. I don't mute or block anyone. I just see it.
Oh, really?
But I just like to know. Then I know.
I don't block. I don't block people because I don't
unless
care
it's
enough
like epic spam or scammers or something. Then obviously.
Oh yeah.
But on the mute train, I don't do it. I just enjoy scrolling.
Oh really? You like the carnage?
Yeah, I don't get involved in it, but I just read it to know for myself what to dodge.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's a lot of
just stay there in the background.
I don't know. I kind of like the positivity side of things. In fact, I saw we talked about this Bill Hicks thing in the past, where it's like, it's just a ride, and you just have to, like, it's not the most important thing that's going on. There's more important things. People are like got families and having babies and whatever. Like, yeah, it's good that if this stuff all goes up and makes us millionaires, but you have to sort of see the bigger picture sometimes. So when I talk about this Bill Hicks thing, I thought I'll just play it, and then that way people know what I'm talking about when I refer to it all the time, because people can't be bothered looking it up.
Do it.
Here we go.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride, and we kill those people. Shut him up. We have a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This has to be real. It's just a ride. But we always kill those good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter, because it's just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. A choice right now between fear and love.
Very good.
So yeah, I kind of cut that a little bit short, but he's a funny guy. I mean, he's dead now, but I like the more
something he said.
Was that? Yeah, right. Something he said
that caused his death.
Nah, man. I think he had like some horrible cancer or something. I don't know, but or maybe not. I don't really know. There's a few of these guys. Like, yeah, but you know, I like the sentiment. I mean, there's a bit of, you know, hippie sort of stuff in there as well, where it's you kind of go, well, there's like the reality as well. But I do like that sentiment that you can choose between fear and love. So because I think what it boils down to is that fear is a really destructive emotion, and that it can breed hate in people. Where people are fearful of something, they hate it, you know. And that's like a really powerful emotion that people, I think, just need to wind that back a little bit. Like, but if you don't have fear, right? If you don't fear these things happen, it doesn't affect you as much. Like, you just kind of like, and it's just less stressful, I find.
You know,
so if you can live,
when we're born, sorry to cut you off, but as a human, when you're born, you have zero fear. Fear is taught. Something to think about there.
100%. And I mean, it's not to say that there's not evolutionarily sort of advantageous precautions that you need to take so that you don't die. Like, you've got to have like a healthy amount of fear, but fear through things you can't control is wasted energy. And fear on things that are being, you know, manipulated, you know, like there's a facade, a sort of a thing you might see in the news or whatever. It's like it's a pseudo threat. It's not an actual threat. Like, you're not actually being hunted by like this lion. It's just like they're telling you something that you're meant to be afraid of. And then it's just like, well, fuck you. I choose not to be afraid of that. So, and then it has no effect on you. Yeah. Anyway,
talking about fear and government things and everything that's going on, and everyone talking in chat about elections and things. What do you think of this 8th of April solar eclipse event? Have we spoke about that?
Bullish.
Bullish. Let's go. Like an end of days. You can't come soon enough.
I mean, we've heard nothing in Australia on any news, any narrative, nothing at all. But obviously, us on Twitter and X, you see the US, multiple other countries making a big deal out of it. I have a flight that day, so I'm worried about my flight. But other than that, I'm all good.
I will be blunt. I do not think that any astronomical, celestial events have any effect on things in the real world, or even that our fate or our futures are predetermined in any way. I don't believe in any of that shit, and I haven't seen any evidence for it whatsoever. But a lot of people do believe in that shit, and that creates a problem where you have these feedback loops where every time someone thinks, oh, there's a full moon, so therefore there's going to be more volatility in the market. So then they think, oh, I better sell. And then someone else thinks, oh, I better buy. And then they're creating this self-fulfilling prophecy of volatility. And then someone will say, oh, that's right, it was the full moon. And you go, yeah, was it though? Or was it just because we're humans?
Back to a bit of predictive programming as well, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we're just taught to, you know, well, it's a full moon, ooh, you know. And eclipses, I guess a lot of things were attributed like from like an evolutionary, you know, standpoint. There would have been, you know, animals and things like that would have just not understood what an eclipse was. And so birds and things that always fish at nighttime or in the evening, they would have been like, oh, shit, it's time to feed because, you know, the fish will be out right about now because the sun's setting. And then hang on a sec, it's gone away. So it like spooks them, or, you know, so there'd be probably quite a lot of like animals because they don't understand what's going on. And we just understand that it's because of the orbits and things like that, these things happen. We can rationalize it. So maybe it's an instinctual thing.
Have you seen the indicator on TradingView with the moon phases with Bitcoin chart?
Yeah.
It's actually, I mean, fairly on point for full moons.
Yeah, but correlation is not causation though as well, right?
Yeah,
so
no, but it's a trend. So if you wanted to, like, I'm not saying that causes it, but it is a trend on that time frame.
Sure. But I would argue that you could get two things that are completely not correlated and they would track each other on a graph. And you could say like school literacy in whatever Cambodia versus the price of lithium in China. And you'd be like, holy shit, it tracks. Oh my God, the odd factor, the correlation factor is like 1.0. And you'd be like, it's because of the child literacy in the Philippines. But it's like, no, sometimes it is. And like I said, it's that feedback loop where people perceive it to be a thing. I mean, this is the whole thing about TA, technical analysis, being astrology for men. And it's like, you can say all that shit, but when people, a whole group, like a mass delusion of people, believe that there is support at a certain line, sometimes there is support at that line because they put all the limit orders to buy at that line. So 100%. Yeah, you could say it's bullshit, but if enough people believe it, then it creates it.
Yeah.
So it's like that self-fulfilling prophecy thing. So, but then it's the whole, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Is it actually support, or is it just because people perceive it to be support, so therefore they create that support?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of the solo crypts, I don't think, like, you might see some weird animal behavior, like birds and shit. I can't imagine there'd be any. I mean,
what about there'd be a lot of weird human behavior in America? But I'm not from there, so I don't know. But just what I'm seeing on Twitter.
I mean, it would affect like the electron stream, maybe like the solar wind, magnetic fields and things like.
But they're saying it could potentially take down the internet, and there's like so many insane theories going out there. It's like, what the fuck?
No. You'd need massive coronal mass ejection. Coronal mass ejections happen all the time, and you have massive solar flares, and that's what creates, electromagnetic waves that can take out comms on Earth.
This is a setup for something else going on, but you know what I mean?
Nah,
hopefully it causes Greg the Duck to start pushing some buttons. So you never know.
I'm just skeptical on everything, man. I'm like,
everything this year up until the election is going to be a wild ride. I reckon we're on a wild ride.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some volatility, and but the presidential election, I think, is maybe what's driving it every 4 years, or it could be the halving, right? But we don't know whether it's the halving or the presidential election year. But maybe it's both. Maybe there's like some significant factor, like contribution of each, and of course there is, and other events as well. But I've been through at least one halving before, and I remember thinking, oh, I'm going to buy some bags before the halving, and then it's going to go to the moon, and then after the halving it dropped, went down, and I was like, everything is a lie.
Yeah.
And then I think I sold it, and then it did continue to go up. And it's like, it's not, I don't think it's going to be like instantaneous. Like, it might dip and it might come back, or it might go off and then come back down. But you really kind of have to hold it for like over the next year to see what's going on. And then there's other metrics that you can use to see whether you're in that peak euphoria, mode. Some people choose, sentiment, like people, like figures in the community or whatever, as like indicators of sentiment and indicators of like euphoria or whatever, or depression. But I think you can see those metrics in the charts, depending on what you're looking at. But we're nowhere near it, is what I think. Is you look at total 2 market cap, all those sorts of things, it's nowhere near, it's not even anywhere near the previous all-time high, like in terms of total market cap, total 2 without Bitcoin. So assuming like diminishing returns, even a 2x, I would see that's like a good indicator of where you should be starting to think about selling. But until then, just DCA, keep buying the dips, like same as always. Try not to get rugged.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, speaking of 43 said it, the premature condom.
Yeah. Don't ape into that condom coin on pre-sale on Solana and then get rugged before it even launches.
So speaking of positivity, have you seen the fire sale on Hex at the moment?
Yeah.
Be positive about the fact that it's on sale, I guess. It's below, what is it, 0.009 at the moment. So
I was just laughing at that premature ejaculation joke. Yeah. It's a good buy. And some of these things I've taken some profits from certain things and I've rotated them back into the RH ecosystem coins that aren't performing that well. So I've always sort of said this, like it's okay to have hedges and stuff. And if the hedges do well, then you can take some profit.
Yeah.
Like at the moment, I think that SolidX coin is going ape shit. And I don't know if it's that fire whale guy. It's like the number 8 on the sacrifice list, and he's been buying it up.
Yeah, he calls himself Solid Hex.
Solid X?
Solid Hex is he gets around in chats and that as Solid Hex, yeah.
Okay.
He's
but like,
There's a fair bit of memeing going on lately, isn't it? It's a good little battle that keeps the chain active.
Yeah, I think the problem is, I guess, some of these memes, like the PDO guys or whatever, like it's going well at the moment, but it's a bit frothy. So you kind of have to take profits and then rotate into the next meme that's coming out because they're very short-lived. They're not like, it's not like Hex where you've got like a 7-year average staking length and stuff like that, where people are like locking stuff up for 15 years thinking about their grandkids, and like it's not like that. Like these meme coins, they launch one, pumps, someone launches another one, and it just depends on how early you are. And if you can get in early with these things, you can take profits and rotate into something else, or just go to stables or Pulse or whatever. But holding these meme coins, I don't think that's a great long-term strategy.
No, it's fun if you're sitting around and you've got nothing to do all day, but when you're out working.
Yeah, well, that's it. Sometimes you just can't. You're just like, I'm at work, and people going, oh, this coin's popping. And you're like, well, I can't do anything about it. So, yeah.
DJ,
g'day to DJ. Yeah, legend.
So
love the it's Twitch, isn't it? He does his
that's right. Yeah,
show on. Yeah.
I try and get in on the What the Hex show. It's pretty early when you're in Australia, but it's definitely a good show. Nice and get a few laughs out of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, so, I jumped on there a few times. Try to get on there as well when I can.
Yeah, I like DJ Cryptomatic. I think he's like a voice of reason. Like he like says stuff where you're like, yes, that is true. Like, well, there's a lot of speculation and shit going on, and then he just goes, yeah, but what about this? And you're like,
yeah, he's straight up.
He's straight up, but also loves the DJing stuff. So cool tunes.
If you love your tunes, get on and give him a follow.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. That's the way. Hexadelic's got his beer. We can go down to. Oh, he's gone down a. He's gone back in time to Blockbuster Video to get some VHS and some Commodore 64s. Acid to kick in. Nice chop. Yeah, okay. That's one way to do it.
Exciting Friday night there.
Sounds like a good Friday night.
Just when you're doing these things, boys, don't go in and make any financial decisions when you're in that state. Yeah, just all in on condom. All in on condom coin, just V2 condom. Yes. Yeah. I heard about this. Pretty sure True Blue said something about it earlier. I'm gonna ape my aping.
That's it.
No, just joking. No, we're literally saying don't ape into some of this stuff. And I was saying earlier, Mayo, that it's deceptive. These, I got in on day 2 on one of these memes, and I did like a 3x, and it was fuck all, really. It was just a little bit of money, and but then it's like touted as like this hugely successful, meme coin on Solana, and that everyone made, 300,000%, and you're just going, how many people actually saw that, and were they all insiders?
That's right.
Because if you can get in on day 2 on something and still like not see hardly any of those gains, then there's almost no way that anyone is going to get that. Like, it's just not realistic. So yeah, I was going to say a couple of things about, you know, if people wanted to put in some coins to look at, I'm happy to actually, you know, chart them or whatever, say something about them. I'm not necessarily going to endorse them or whatever, but it's mainly just the RH stuff that I'm interested in. But if people want to, you know, feel free, let us know.
If it brings eyes to PulseChain, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That pulse ratio is pretty damn crazy at the moment.
Yeah, I mean,
X as well. Like
pulse is down at the moment. I think that's like, it looks like it wicked down to this support at sort of 409. So I'm thinking that might be a nice little bounce off that. And yeah, I guess if we look at like X Pulse, and then price it in Pulse, I'm pretty much only really interested in pricing things in Pulse these days. So it's actually just below that 100 Pulse per hex. So it's at 98. So that seems like a really good sort of support, or floor maybe. So let's see. I mean, it's in a downtrend. I haven't seen it sort of do like a trend reversal yet, but I mean, it depends on your risk tolerance, right? Like some people like to get in before the trend reverses, and then some people like to see confirmation of that. Yeah. So like BTC, let's have a look at BTC ETH. Yeah, so this is ETH BTC. This has been going in a downtrend since the merge, and we thought that maybe it was going to there was like this descending wedge, and I think 43 and I were like, we're going to watch this on the weekly and see if it can break above it. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit more. We were like, we were going to see if it can break above it and then retest this sort of, I guess, diagonal resistance and retest it and then bounce. And I was like, this could be an awesome time to get into ETH, which is interestingly very around the time when the SAC wallet sort of went in as well. But it didn't. It got rejected and then broke down and then broke down again. So it's just like Bitcoin dominance has just been killing it.
Definitely.
So yeah, definitely not altcoin season yet. When you're looking at it from the the ETH BTC ratio, if everything that we have is kind of like leverage on Ethereum, and Ethereum's getting crushed by Bitcoin, yeah, it makes sense that most other things are in the red as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget about ratios and they're always about the dollar figure.
Yeah, I prefer the ratios. Yeah. Because I mean, even if you go, like, let's look up Inc. That's PLS and price it in Pulse. Yeah, Inc. has been doing quite well. And then there's these natural lines of support here. And then look at that. It's just sitting right on that support. I mean, interesting to see what happens there. I might be looking at some of that stuff as well. Because sometimes you can spot it in the ratios and you kind of go, oh, look, Inc. has been really outperforming Pulse. But at this point, Pulse is outperforming Inc. And then if it breaks down this support, you might want to rotate it back into Pulse, So it depends on whether you're doing the ratio trade game with like a small percentage of your bag. I don't recommend people just, completely swap, AP in each way.
Yeah. There's been a few lately that have been sort of no-brainers, but normally it's not something I do until it's, quite obvious that, that it's a pretty good deal. On a long-term sort of scale rather than short-term. stuff, because that's where, I think you'll just get yourself wrecked if you're not able to play the ball all the time as well. You know, you have these people that, like you said before about the meme coins, you can't sit there all day. And if you did sit there all day, you'd probably be firing shots into a whole heap of them, thinking they'll be the next one, and you probably wreck yourself anyway. So,
couple premature shots, you reckon?
That's it.
Yeah.
And then you get rugged. Yeah.
And then you get rugged by condom coin. Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing is that, like, we've got the SEC case, or the hearing, I should say, like right around the corner. I kind of care more about that than I do about the eclipse, because it's like, isn't it the 8th of April when that hearing's going down?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is.
You know, so we talked about this earlier, that basically, you know, what is anyone's primary motivation, you know, with all this sort of stuff, apart from, you know, the government trying to control and all this stuff, and politicians and things. They care about making money, right? They, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's the reason why things happen, and particularly things that you find hard to explain. So if the SEC are going after Richard, they think maybe it's an easy target. I'm just gonna, you know, we're gonna get this guy who's twerking in Louis Vuitton tracksuits or whatever, Gucci tracksuits. They think it's a slam dunk. Then they get this amicus brief and Pulse petitions with 50,000 signatures, and they see RH has got a dozen lawyers, and it's the buddy, the same lawyer who defended, you know, Elon Musk in his SEC case, and they start to see the firepower, and then they start going, should we maybe take a settlement, because their primary motivation is to get paid, right? They're just trying to extort RH for money. 100%. So I'm starting to think that they might be offering a settlement rather than, you know, it going the other way. I mean, I think RH was actually asking for a dismissal, because the nature of the terms of that case seemed to be, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but it seemed to be that they were accusing PulseChain, PulseChain and PulseX and Hex as like a defendant.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you can't sue software, bro. Like,
it's pretty
who's going to represent them? Like, I'm not sure that's how that works. Like, you can't, like, you can sue a company behind the software, you know, but you can't sue the actual software itself. That doesn't make any sense. So if there's no, like, then they have to prove that RH is behind the software, and the burden of proof is on the person making the, you know, the outlandish claims. So, and you might notice that RH has always used language. He's very litigious when it comes to the way he speaks, and it's always like, I've noticed that PulseChain has introduced these things, like the farms have now got this, or I've noticed that now the bridge has got 0% fees, you know, to go one way or whatever. I've noticed this, I've noticed that. He's never saying that he is doing it.
Yeah.
And that's, so then, you know, these claims, they require extraordinary evidence to sort of say, show me where, if I was a judge, I'd be kind of going, okay, well, you've put this software on trial, and then, but who's here to represent the software? You know, Richard Hart. Oh, okay. Well, prove to me that he's the guy that should be, you know, responsible for it. Their case is just, it just seems like a shit show to me. So, I mean, maybe that's why they wanted a jury, so they could play people's emotions and stuff, and sort of, look at him twerking, look at him twerk, you know. And it's like,
look at all those Gucci bags.
Yeah, look at him, he's wearing a Gucci tracksuit. And then it's like emotional, you know, ad hominem attacks. But like, if you try and make like a logical case, you'd be going, man, your case is pretty shit. Hey, like, you're
I think
not
the
great.
case is premature.
Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe go chase down.
I didn't plan this first.
Maybe go chase down condom coin or whatever. Like, do something that is an actual rug. Like, everyone here has just said that, or 99.999% of people are saying that they're happy the way things are going, that they don't feel like they've been scammed. It's only you guys that are, you know, the SEC, that have come out and said that they think it's a scam. It's like, why don't you go after the actual scams, like the provable scams? So yeah, my rant is just that. I think they want to get paid. I hope that it's just a settlement, and then we can go onwards and upwards, leave this sort of shit behind us, and we might get more exchange listings, might get a bit more things like that. Anything, just a little bit more, on ramps or whatever. People, awareness.
Definitely. They're even the outrage marketing stuff, it's a bit funny because he's even said, that in a way it was him playing a part in a movie. So he could have just been playing that part, getting ready for the role, that whole time of doing all that outrage marketing, rather than that him saying that's actually him. And
a performance piece.
No one can ever prove where the money came from that either. And the movie he didn't pay a cent for. So it's got a pretty good standing, I reckon. The timing in all of this, like that video we showed a few weeks ago with Matty Allen and the movie, the movie guys. Basically, they were just saying, what is it that he doesn't? What isn't a strategy? He's just all about playing the strategies. I was just looking at the Nuclear Herbs guy, his post, because he's pretty on about the court listener stuff. So on the 28th, he was saying that RH's attorneys were asking to delay filing the discovery plan that was due April 5th. So that's today or tomorrow over there. So yeah, if it's been delayed, I'm not sure. But they were asking for that. So
yeah,
see what happens.
That's interesting. I think that'll be in the next few days. I think we might find out a little bit more information.
Yeah.
There's a question here. Joint Desier, what time frame do you predict the cycle top to be this year or next year? So my thing is next year. So because someone's fully asked this, so I'll just quickly go into it. I think from the previous all-time high of 2017. So my theory was it broke through around about 3 years later. So it's about 12 months from all-time high to all-time low. This is 50 weeks, right? And then 2 more years of sort of sideways, I guess. And then so after 3 years, so this is 150 weeks, 156 weeks, it broke the all-time high. And then you have about 6 months of peak, and then you have this double top, right? So then the same thing happened again. We had from peak to all-time low, 52 weeks exactly. So unless you've got the whole this time is different sort of mindset, my gut feeling was always that it would be 3 years to break all-time high. So 156 weeks. So it's sort of November, I think it is. Oh, it says here it's October. So around about October to break all-time high. Now, that was wrong because we broke all-time high already, right?
Yeah.
But it's below all-time high. So it didn't really, it can touch all-time high. It can fluff it, but it didn't really bust through it, until that 3-year period. So we've kind of done it again. We've touched it. Yeah, we broke it, but not really convincingly. It's not we're not at whatever it is, 90,000, 85,000. If it was 85,000, I'd be okay, it's a left translated cycle where 100% things are going to happen sooner because, we're doing something that we've never done before. But this is not convincing. It could easily go back down and go sideways until, what did I say, October?
Yeah.
And then it could do the up to 85, 90, 95. So we're still kind of in this unsure sort of period. But if it is a left translated cycle, then I would say that it might happen earlier in 2025, with a hyper phase of the bull. But otherwise, it's literally November 2025 is where you get your 4 years from peak to peak sort of thing. So yeah, I'm thinking like mid to late 2025 is like cycle top. And keep in mind as well that that's BTC we're talking about. So there's the sort of 206 odd bars. Yeah, mid-October 2025. So this is just BTC, right? So if you put if you add hex on top of this, boop, 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 boop. Oh yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. Hex USDC maybe on the V3 as a, or I think I should have added it as a separate pane, but it doesn't matter. You can kind of see it here. So the first double top, so this is like, you know, the whole reading between the lines thing is that there was a whole bunch of money with, you know, whatever adoption amplifiers and, you know, where did the ETH go, all this sort of stuff. And then after like the first pump, you know, the chart, and this is also the sacrifices as well, that this is for the PulseChain sacrifices where this went, you know, crazy. This is the hex price. But it was certainly after the first all-time high for BTC. So it could be later than that for hex. And then you kind of got this double top because we've got the double top there. And then I think this is even the PulseX sack as well. And so maybe that's where you would kind of expect that if you take the 4 years from the hex cycle, like that's going to be slightly further down. Oh, man.
I think it ends up around like May, isn't it? Roughly from top of my head. April? May?
So this is saying 4 years from peak is August 2025. Oh, because our all-time high was actually before the all-time high of the last one. Yeah, so that might be hard to compare. I'm happy with the BTC, like predicting or not predicting, but I'm happy to speculate on, you know, BTC all-time high because I nailed that all-time low to the day, like with that call. And then so now I have no reason to think otherwise. The hex one is slightly different because there's all sorts of things that could change it, right? Like SEC cases and, you know, all sorts of things going on with the SAC wallets. So that's harder to predict, I would say. Anyway, I hope I answered that. If there's anyone got any other coins or anything in the chat they want me to talk about, or even in the comments, like at the end, like if you can't make the live stream, put it in the comments, and then I'll do like a segment at the end where I just like look at it, where I just want to compare it against Rat Pulse. Like I want to be, you know, honest and courageous about it. And if people are saying this coin is better, it's like, okay, show me your coin. Like show me what you got. Let's look at it, and then let's just compare it. And then if it's shit, though, I'm going to say it's shit. So just be aware. Don't think you can just shill something because you just bought a big bag, and then I'm going to shill it for you.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I also wanted to talk about just briefly before we wrap up. It looks like PulseCoinlist.com have got their own like market cap ranking site going now. So they just basically put in, actually I'll zoom in a bit so you can see here. So this is like the entire crypto market caps. And then they've just ranked, but what they've done is they've included the OA with PulseChain,
not
and Hex.
Oh,
yeah, and Hex and PLSX. Yep, it's all there. So they've actually got true market cap. So then you sort of think, okay, well, Hex is like a 25, just below near.
That's so good.
And yeah, I think it adds a bit of legitimacy to it, where you kind of go, oh, okay, PulseChain has actually got 12 billion or 13 billion market cap, just below Bitcoin Cash and just below Shiba Inu. It kind of gives you a bit of a feel for why we're sort of saying, you know, okay, Solana or whatever has done really well, but maybe at this point, it's its return on investment, it might be diminished because it's already pumped, like it's already done really well. Whereas some of these lower ones, you think maybe might still have a sniff. Plus, we've got a benevolent set of sack wallets with $700 million that's bloody pumping our charts. So
yeah, pretty good.
I feel
we
like
should,
I think
zero expectations, but
we should check in on that a bit more on the streams. It'd be good. Just watch how that
climb the ranking. Yeah, we're at 14 for future reference. No expectations, but I also, and there's legalities and all that sort of stuff, but I just like to say it as like a meme, because it's like you need a narrative. We need as many narratives as we've got, and so what ours is that we might, that sacrifice wallets might be buying up the chart. Why not? Like talk about it. If that makes people buy, whatever, it's up to them. And I think GoPulse as well. So that was PulseCoin list. I think GoPulse has actually done the same thing. It's funny how they kind of do things like similar. Oh no, this is actually liquidity. This is a liquidity.
Yeah, they've added quite a bit lately. I think all the full coin listing on the homepage, I think, as well.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Updated. But I looked at this. So this has just got straight up like liquidity. Oh, that's really handy actually. Wow, that's surprising that the PulseX liquidity has gone up so much. Oh, but this is slightly deceptive though, because you've got to consider the liquidity between PulseX and Pulse, like one side of it, and then between Pulse and Inc. and PulseX and Inc. You have to add them up. I don't know if this is summing the liquidity.
Yeah, like the total over all pools.
Yeah, I don't think it is. This might be just one pool. Like this might be like PLS versus DAI. That's maybe not as handy as I would have liked, because I like to see the sum of all the liquidity in all the pools for each coin. Yeah. Not just like, okay. Anyway.
Is that the ranking site that, was it PulseCoin list? Is that the one that Tangent's been talking about?
No, I think that's the InvestX.
Oh, InvestX.
Yeah, his one was InvestX, I think. That's like a deck screener, alternative with just got like all the tickers and stuff up there. I was just going to briefly talk about this. This is on, if you want to check out the 9mm Pro, this is the EHEX, the BankX wall. So this is like,
they moved it, didn't they? Yeah.
So 1.4 cents all the way down to 007. So that's the EHEX battle. I am, sort of staying away from that at this point, but that is a decent wall to get through. I think maybe focusing on PHEX is probably the go. But everyone has different investment strategies. They sort of see some things that have gone down and they think that that's opportunity. But yeah, people can make up their own minds, I guess. True Blue, you asked me ages ago about where I got that Chrome extension for PulseChain, the site checker. So if you go to, if I do it here, if I go to like PulseChain.com and then I go to, the bridge site, my top up here, this little icon has gone purple. And then it just tells me that it's the latest IPFS link.
Yep.
And then if I'm not on the site, like it goes silver.
Yeah, that's cool.
So anyway, it's all Poseidon. Poseidon is a legend. I'll put his thing in the chat.
You beauty.
He's got lots of cool little apps and things. But it sort of shows you can get that PulseChain site checker on Chrome, on Firefox. He's got some interesting stuff on his YouTube, like, basic stuff for people. There's Telegram bots. There's, even impermanent loss calculator, like this is handy, if you want to play around with things like that. So
that's cool. Yeah, definitely.
I kind of like little tools like that. And the other one, B9 security. So this is the Papa B stuff. Yep. He's got some, this is a cool site. So it's b9.xyz. it's got some cool tools and things. A little bit of information on certain things, backing up seed phrases, Trezor links or whatever. There's actually a competition as well that's going on about the Pulse. You know those postcards?
Yeah. Is that like, Eco Builder or?
No, it's the Togosh guy, the guy who does all the validator stuff and like scripts and things. And I think he might have done some of the contributed to the artwork or whatever for the postcards. Because I think this is like the third time they've done it, right? When they send out the postcards.
Yeah.
But, you know, RH is always talking about the postcards and, you know, doing the mail outs and things like that. But this is a competition where I think you can win like $800 if you design it or whatever. Sorry, I'm just looking at my Twitter thing and I've got this cow like drinking milk from its own udders and it's the infinite food glitch. Oh, that is not appropriate. Look, I'll see if I can find Togosh's thing. Oh man, I can't find it.
We've got Yaveen in the chat asking about fiat, fame, and fucks charting or PHUX.
Oh yeah. All right, let's do it. I'll do a real quick one, and then we probably have to wrap it up, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know they're all down, so probably a good time to DCA, but just cutting it short.
So were they the ones that were airdropped? Were they a lot or fiat? I think you get.
Yeah, there was sacrifices for it, and there was a few airdrops as well for PHUX. I know, but I'm not sure about the others if there was much of an airdrop for them.
All right. I said I would do it, so let me do it. This is the intro. This is the new segment. It's called Show Me What You Got.
Show me what you got.
Jim, you heard them said, show me what you got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Nice one, man. That's cool.
Oh, that's Rick and Morty, if in case anyone was wondering. Okay, so we're talking fiat. Let's do this. Pull this up here. All right, so, hang on a tick. Is this not going to be on Deck Screener because they don't show? Fail. I don't think Deck Screener shows the Flux pools. How do people plot? It must be like Dex Tools or something. Oh man, I did not think anyone would do that. Like ask me a coin for a pool that's not listed in
they're still on Deck
Screener. Is it? Well, those liquidity is really low in those pools. That doesn't look right. Let me look on yeah, even this is like saying like $300 worth of liquidity and stuff.
They don't have a great deal at the moment. There was much higher liquidity before.
Let's try Flux. Yeah, because all their liquidity is in the Flux pool, so it's not going to show. Oh, yeah. Fail. Sorry about that, Yaveen. After all the hype. Has anyone else got a coin? One thing I would say is, so this is actually a good like learning exercise. So when you type in the coin that you want, and then you see that it has $375 worth of liquidity and not like $11 million or something, you're like, hang on a tick. Someone's trying to scam you by putting this small amount of liquidity in here, and that you're basically going to get rugged, because if you try and buy or sell into such small liquidity, you'll push the price against yourself and you'll get way less coins, but the slippage will be out of control. So yeah, be a little bit careful of that. And so like if you look down the bottom here, there's all these sorts of things, like it can tell you if there's like a score like on Token Sniffer, And there's other sites and things where you can go and check contract addresses. And yeah, obviously these are the contract addresses here. So just always check that stuff when you're looking.
All right.
There's some other tools and things like that you can do. But yeah, did you have another one or anything else?
Can you explain to me and the people out there why you wouldn't want to chart something with low liquidity?
Or not so much that you wouldn't want to chart it, just that like it may not be the right chart, and like and particularly if so sometimes when people look at these charts, they'll literally click the link here which opens the DEX. Like it just will literally just open like the DEX that pool has, and they think, oh sweet, I can just connect my wallet, I can just buy it straight from here. So like if you're using that little link, it can be handy if you're like degenerating into some random shitcoin and you want to be sure that you've got the right, you're checking contract addresses or whatever to do that. But yeah, just be careful of liquidity, because if you trade into this pool, you'll get wrecked.
Yeah. So for trading, you'd want to buy things like that on Proteus or
make sure you're trading it on the right DEX, which has the right pools. Like in that, Proteus will just be a DEX aggregator which uses the Fux pools, or you can just go literally on the Fux DEX, I guess, and then that will use the right pools.
Apparently, Gecko Terminal, Red Squirrel was saying, has the
Fux. Okay. Yep, that's probably a good way to do it as well.
Yeah, it does.
So I'll just quickly bring this up. There's a couple of like tools and things that you can use. This one is app.quickintel.io, and you can put in like contract addresses and scan them and things like that. There's another one called Honeypot Detector, which is honeypot.is/Ethereum. You can put in like your Ethereum contract address and check to see if it's. So I think what they do is they do a small buy and a small sell to make sure that that contract you can actually, like, it's not going to be like a proper rug where you can't sell it.
That's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, and so yeah, Red Squirrel, I'll check that out. Gecko Terminal, I haven't done that.
I'll put your link in the private chat to the Fux one, but on that one there's 3.5 mil of liquidity.
Nice. Let's see if we can just briefly look that up. Oh wow! So
make a move, boys. I might run.
Yeah, that's cool. We're basically going to wrap it up soon anyway. I just wanted to do this real quick. But yeah, good to have you on, Mayo. Thanks for the chats and stuff. And hopefully have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time, man.
Yeah, have a good one all. Hopefully
good to stream with you.
In between. I'll have to pick another day where I can get on.
Yeah.
We'll come to some. All right. Too easy. Yeah, cheers for having me.
No worries. Thanks, Mayo. See you, mate.
See ya.
Yeah, that's awesome. If other people also want to, come on and chat on a Friday Arvo, let us know. Just hit us up and we can get you in.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, just briefly. So this was the Fux using this Gecko terminal. I've never used this before, but let's put it in PLS. Oh, that's a burn. That's a shame. Let's go log. Oh, it makes it even worse. No, maybe not. Okay. Sorry, Yaveen. Now, look, I think some people have done well from this, but like from getting airdropped it or whatever. But this is a literal down forever coin, right? So if I can go weeks. Oof.
Doesn't look great.
I don't think I need to say anything. That's if you price it in Pulse. Yeah. Okay. You don't need TA on that one, guys. That is a train wreck. What was the other ones? Fiat. Oh, Fame. Oh, here we go. Oh,
I was only laughing there. your reaction, but I use PHUX a little bit with a little bit of liquidity in there and stuff, and you can get some good returns. But yeah, obviously just the token itself isn't doing too well at the moment. But yeah, there's a lot of inflation on it, like Yvonne said. So
yeah, look, I like the idea that you can do these multi-pool like liquidity farming, yield farming and liquidity pools. I like that. And I like how that you could do it in terms of all of the Alex, Icosa, all these different hadron pools and things like that. But yeah, in terms of like that's it. Retrostatic Fux is a reward token. Yeah, so that's it. That's all it is. So maybe not the best ones to chart, but anyway, if anyone wants to put any other ones in, we can do that, or maybe just think about it for next time. Oh yeah, this is what I was just talking about. So this is the Fux pools. So you can go on and become the Maximus Perps pools, and then you've got all of these different perpetuals. And then you can put into those pools. I think it just helps in terms of order execution and DEX aggregation. That it's really important that we have these pools, so that, because there was some things that we had like P Icosa, P Hedron, that were just getting terrible liquidity. That's and the same with P Deci, P Maxi, all those things. Because I always thought that would be a really cool yield farming strategy, is to actually put like say P Maxi and Hex, and P Hex, P Maxi, and then so they would kind of track together and you'd just be earning the fees and things like that. But the liquidity was so bad that you just eat all this slippage anytime you try to move between like P Deci and P Maxi and stuff like that. But now I think because 9mm has come on board as well, we've got the concentrated liquidity, that really makes it doable now, because you're not getting so much slippage. Because all the liquidity is concentrated.
I've noticed a lot more of the order routing through Pateus, or actually Internet Money Wallet as well, that I've been using. It's showing 9mm a lot more now. So the liquidity is building on there, and it's becoming a much bigger tool in the system to give us good order execution. So yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. No, I think that's really cool. And I think I'm probably going to start doing a bit of that as well. I've just been more interested in earning ink. So that's like with wrapped ETH and wrapped Pulse and things like that, rather than going into these other things. But, Tangang, shout out to those guys. Free Mint Friday, like check out Bullish and all that stuff. Those guys have got some cool things going on with yield farms and the 9mm tokens and sort of coming up, and Enigma diamond mines and infinite money glitches. Maybe I should show that thing. Maybe just to wrap it up, because I was looking for a bookmark, because there was like we were talking about something. Oh, that was pretty funny, that the shitcoin advisor thing.
Oh yeah.
There was just some bookmarks or whatever I was looking at. So this was it. This infinite food glitch.
That is so
I'm not
good.
sure that people want to see that. The infinite food glitch.
That is gold. So
better
good.
than the infinite money glitch.
Yeah. I love it.
All right, bro. On that note, man, I think we should probably wrap it up.
Take it easy. Yep. Thanks, man.
Awesome.
It was a good one.
Good to see you, man. I hope you have a good weekend and stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. True. Yeah. Had a good time last week down south, so that was fun.
That's cool.
But yeah, I'll see you next week, bro. Sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks everyone in the chat. Yep. Awesome.
Thanks, chat. Thanks, replay gang. Rock on. Cheers.